Welcome back to Legends May Live, where we dive deep into strange, the unexplained, and the reality-shaking moments that make you question everything. I'm Drew, and tonight we're unraveling a story so bizarre, so mind-bending that, if true, it could fundamentally change the way we think about life, death, and everything in between. What if dying isn't the end? What if death is just a glitch? A cosmic sorting process, a moment where we slip into the gears of something beyond our comprehension. Tonight we're exploring a near-death experience like no other. It was posted on Glitch in the Matrix on Reddit, and it details an encounter with something so vast, so terrifying that words can barely capture its essence. Buckle up, because this one is going to challenge your perception of reality. Our story begins on the morning of July 15th, 2013. A man, let's call him Wilson, was on his way to work. Nothing out of the ordinary. He was running late, flustered, and focused on an important meeting he had been preparing for. Now, we all know those intersections, the ones with blind spots, the ones that feel like accidents waiting to happen. Well, this was one of those places. A dangerous intersection where many crashes had already occurred, but Wilson had driven this road countless times. He looked right, saw nothing, and made his left turn. That's when everything changed. Out of nowhere, a car was barreling toward him at over 90 miles per hour. They locked eyes. There was no time, no space to react. It was impossible to avoid impact. He was about to die. Only he didn't. What happened next is nearly impossible to describe. As Wilson braced for impact, his reality fractured. From the corner of his vision, completely separate from the oncoming car, he saw something enormous approaching from the field next to the road. Something that shouldn't have been there. A gigantic structure, like a water wheel lying on its side, rotating as it moved toward him. At first it seemed like the size of a 10-story building, but as he drew closer, he realized his perception was wildly wrong. It was larger than a city, larger than a world. And then came the knowing. Wilson didn't just see the wheel, he understood it. It wasn't an object moving through space. It was space. It was reality. It was everything. This wheel wasn't something entering his reality. It was reality. Every possible life, every possible world, every choice, every outcome, all of it existed within the paddles of this massive rotating structure. Wilson suddenly knew, without question, that he had seen the wheel before he was born. And he would see it again when he died. We all will. The truth had been hidden from him while he was alive. But now, as he teetered between life and death, the veil was lifted. And that's when the real terror began. The wheel rolled over him. He was hit, not physically, but by something deeper. Each paddle of the wheel carried something with it. A different version of reality, a different universe, a different life. And Wilson was being forced through them. It was like being hit with a wave of water, except that each wave was an entirely new existence, a different world, a different him, a different timeline. He had no control. He was being ripped apart and rebuilt over and over again, each time as something new, with new memories, new experiences, new lives he never lived. And yet, he knew. He knew that unless he found a way to choose a reality, the world would do it for him. He would be forced into a life at random, sorted like an object being filed away into its rightful place. He began to panic. Wilson could see endless versions of how his accident played out. In one, his car was launched off the road and folded in half. In another, he lay dying in the wreckage. In another, the impact hadn't even happened yet. He realized something horrifying. It didn't matter if he died or not. The wheel didn't care. It had no concern for time, whether he died in 3 minutes or 30 years. The process was the same. He was always going to end up back here, being sorted. He was back on the road, back approaching the intersection. Except this time, something was different. He braked, hard. He scanned the road, but the speeding car was gone. It never approached, the accident never happened. And yet, he remembered it. Every moment, every fragment of the wheel, every possible world he had seen, and worst of all, he remembered what came next. What happens when we die? Not a tunnel of light, not a peaceful afterlife. Instead, a massive, incomprehensible system, sorting us, filing us, placing us back where we belong. So what do we make of this? Was this just a glitch in the brain during a near-death moment? A hallucination? A deeply ingrained instinct for survival? Or did Wilson really see the structure of reality itself? Was he given a glimpse behind the curtain? Something we're not meant to remember? And if he was right, if we are just paddles on a vast cosmic wheel, then how many of us have already been through it? And more importantly, how many times? That's it for tonight's episode of Legends May Live. If you've ever had a near-death experience, a glitch in the Matrix, or a reality-shattering moment, you can find me at Legends May Live on Reddit. Hit me up on social media, share your stories, and if you really enjoy diving into the unknown, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Until next time, keep questioning, keep searching, and maybe, just maybe, keep an eye on the wheel.